everybody, my name is Victoria. This is my husband Julio. We are doing a series where we talk about the movies and TV shows that we watched throughout the month. So today we're talking about the month of May. And we've been watching a lot of Disney Plus movies, mainly. We have started an endeavor to watch all the Marvel movies in order. And so you're going to see a lot of Marvel movies in addition to other Disney type things. So if you have Disney Plus or you are a Disney fan, then you will enjoy this video because everything is basically Disney except the TV shows that we watched. So let's talk about movies that we watched first, and I'll let Julio start off with this one. We watched The Rescuers, and it's an animated film featuring mice. Did you like it?
I did. I really liked it. Man, that feels like ages ago that we watched that.
Yeah, it was like
the beginning of the month.
Why does that feel like a million years ago?
There's so much has happened in just 1 month.
I know.
In just 1 week. So yeah, Rescuers. Let's see what I can remember from that. I enjoyed it because it was a good story. It was original. I think that I really appreciated the writing, and also the animation is kind of a throwback. You don't get to see a whole lot of drawn animation anymore, so that was really nice to see that. There were some moments that were kind of awkward, I think, particularly with the villain. It was kind of a mix between evil but also funny, and it was kind of an in-between, so it wasn't like fully one thing or another, whereas like I kind of looked at the villain a little bit like Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians because they're very similar, but Cruella is very cruel and she stays in that character. She doesn't try to do any slapstick sort of comedy kind of thing, so I did see that as a little bit kind of trying to figure out where that character should exist, but overall, I would watch it again. I enjoyed it. I would watch it with my kids, and yeah, I liked it.
We've been doing a rating system out of 10, so do you have a rating for it?
For The Rescuers?
Mm-hmm.
I give it a solid 8 out of 10.
All right, I'll back that up. I support that. This is a nostalgic movie for me. I used to sing a lot of the songs around my house when I was a toddler. I would just walk around my house singing the songs. So that was really fun to listen to the songs again and have those memories. And the story of it, I noticed a lot of times with these older ones, the story is so much slower than what we're used to with modern movies. And it's kind of nice sometimes to have that change of pace, but I notice it makes me really have to pay attention better than I usually do when I watch things, because you do have to kind of pay attention to details, and you can't be on your phone and watching things, which is a habit that I have. It's something you can't do with these older movies, I've noticed, because they just move at a slower pace and things are more subtle. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, and it feels very much steeped in its time too. There's a lot of clues that it was made in the 70s, I think. I think it's 70s, yeah.
Yeah, the music is very 70s.
The music is very 70s. Next up, I made Julio watch Pretty in Pink. This was not on Disney Plus. This was not on Disney. This was on Amazon or something. But
Voodoo? I think.
Voodoo? What's Voodoo?
It's a TV watching,
Really?
movie watching app, yeah.
You mean Hulu?
No, that is one, but Voodoo is another one. VUDU.
Okay, okay. I was like, Voodoo? What are you talking about? Anyways, so this is a movie that I've watched many times and Julio had never seen before. I love everything about this movie. I love all the 80s kitschiness. I love the characters. And I love the lip syncing scene with Ducky, the character Ducky. And it's just all warm and fuzzy to me. I wasn't prepared for how emotional it was. I almost forgot about how emotional it is towards the end. There's like a really tear-jerking scene with Molly Ringwald's character and then the actor that plays her father. I can't remember their names. What are the characters' names? I don't remember.
Can put them in the video.
I will do that. My brain's not working today. Yeah, and both of us had tears in our eyes at that scene. Yeah, it was really intense. I had forgotten about that. But yeah, I love this movie. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, personally.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it too. I really love those classic 80s teen movies coming of age. And I think there was something special that happened with that genre in the 80s. Previously, it was thought that teens didn't really have a whole lot of deep-seated issues, or their the realm of things that they dealt with were very surface level before that party scene. Even like the whole 80s music scene was party and have a great time. So these movies that came out around this time, such as Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, especially The Breakfast Club, that's a masterpiece, I think, in this genre. So this was in the same vein, that you get to see a little bit of the inside of the inner struggles of teenagers and people dealing with things that adults don't necessarily remember, or things that they think that aren't such a big deal, but they are. So for that, I really enjoyed this movie. I think that it did a good job capturing those moments and that intensity, and it did it justice, so I also give it a 9.
The next movie we watched was Thor. We're watching all the Marvel movies in order of release date. So Julio, what do you think of Thor?
What do I think of Thor? I like it.
Any other thoughts?
I thought it was fun. I think especially like the first half of the movie is really funny. Just how ridiculous it is to have a Norse mythological character in everyday modern society, and just the jokes are hilarious. So I really enjoyed that part of it.
There were some pretty good ones with the cup.
Oh man, yeah. So it was just funny, and I didn't remember that whole lot about it because I've only seen it once. I saw it in the theater when it came out. It's just been years ago that happened. So being able to watch it was refreshing, and I enjoyed it. Being one of the first ones that we saw within the Marvel movies, I'm kind of using Iron Man as a benchmark, and those movies are excellent. It doesn't quite get to that level, but it's still good. So I'd give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I think Thor is not one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe, just because he's very vanilla, and he's just naive, and he's cute. Like, you want to pat him on the head, like, aw. And there's not really any, like, darkness to him or any, like, moral grayness to him at all. So he's just, like, a hero, you know? And for that reason, it's not one of my favorites, because I enjoy when the characters are a little more morally gray, like Iron Man. And Thor is just not that character. He's vanilla.
So what would you rate it?
Oh, I think maybe an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. Yeah.
That's a good rating.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The next movie we watched was Captain
Vanilla.
I almost said Captain Avenger. It's like, that's not correct.
No.
Captain America. The first Avenger.
The first
yes.
vanilla.
The first vanilla Avenger. So speaking of vanilla characters, Captain America is very vanilla, but I like him. I like him more than I like Thor for some reason. Man, I should have saved my vanilla comment for this character because, yeah, he's apple pie. Yeah.
He's vanilla pie.
He's vanilla pie? No, he's apple. If Thor is vanilla ice cream, then Captain America is apple pie. Because he's American.
As American as vanilla mode. A la mode?
Vanilla a la mode.
Yes.
Okay. Apparently we need to get some dessert or something.
Yes, always.
I really like Captain America more than Thor for some reason. Even though I was just talking about I like characters with more grittiness to them. I really like Captain America because he's just so noble and he is so like quintessential American dreams, American values. And I really enjoy that in the comic book character, and I enjoy how they play off of that. This movie is very much centered around the Nazis as well, and there's also a lot of talk about Hydra and SHIELD and sort of their origins. So for that reason too, I really enjoyed this one because I am a fan of the Agents of SHIELD TV show, and I really need to finish it. I actually never finished watching that show, but I need to. And I really enjoyed the whole storyline of Hydra. And this movie is actually a lot more focused on that storyline. So I really enjoyed this one. I would rate it a, maybe an 8.5. A little higher than Thor. Just because I like Captain America.
Yeah, I like Captain America. I wouldn't say that I like it any more than I do Thor. I just like it differently. I love period films. Anything that has to do with capturing an era really well. I'm not saying that it's like super accurate because of course we're in the Marvel universe, but it's really fun to get to see like World War II bunkers and military, and it's just a cool it's a cool factor whenever you get to see a movie that kind of captures an era. So I love period films. Not saying that Captain America is a period film,
No.
but it's fun. That is an aspect of this movie, so I enjoy it for that.
The historical aspect.
It's also a great action flick. So there's particularly some scenes that are pretty well shot. I'm thinking of the train scene when they're trying to get in. It's one of the last scenes of the movie. So there's a lot of thrill.
I'm sorry. I was gonna sneeze. I was trying not to interrupt you.
So it's packed with a lot of action sequences, and I enjoy that. Captain America is as American as apple pie, so I give it an 8-point a la mode.
What does that mean?
Vanilla bean. 8.5.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Great Mouse Detective was the next movie that we watched.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like that one?
It wasn't very good. I think that it wasn't quite what I was expecting it to be. It's kind of it's a spin-off of Sherlock Holmes, and so it plays that bit, but it doesn't do it very well. I did often find that I brought out my phone because I was kind of bored with it. So
I think both of us were just like, anyways.
Because but by the halfway through the
attention.
movie, we're already invested enough to where we didn't warrant turning it off. But I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't very good. So I'd give that a 7.
That's maybe generous.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll give it a 7.
I would give it maybe lower.
Okay, what'd you give it?
It wasn't engaging for an adult to watch. I'm sure it's fun for a kid to watch, but you know how with animated movies, like there's usually like an interesting enough story that an adult would find it interesting too. This movie lacked that, and I think that really makes it not very timeless, and it's definitely not a favorite. I remember watching it as a kid and liking it. But now watching it as an adult, I realize there's just not a lot of story substance there. There's not a lot of like relatable humor. The music, the songs were not very good. It just, I don't know. It just felt like kind of slapped together a little bit. It seemed not very well thought out. So I didn't like this one as much. I'm gonna give it a 6. Next up, we watched The Avengers, and this was a lot of fun. I hadn't watched The Avengers in a very long time. And I think what was so exciting when this movie came out, because I did see it in the theaters, and I remember the hype around it. I remember just the chemistry between the characters being something that I really looked forward to. And that's definitely the highlight of the Avengers movies, is how the characters interact with each other and the melding of the worlds together. And I think that that's just so much fun, and I'm sad that I haven't watched all the Avengers movies. We haven't watched from like
we still have 14 to go.
The Avengers specifically.
Yeah.
We haven't watched like from.
We just saw one.
I've seen the second one too. I don't know what you've seen, but I maybe saw the first 2 Avengers, maybe the first 3, and then never finished. So I'm really excited to continue, because these were really well done. Also, I realized that Joss Whedon produced this, which also makes sense of why I like it so much, because Joss Whedon is awesome, and the humor is so Joss Whedon as well. The script it just has him written all over it, and I really loved it for that reason. And I hope that he continues to be the producer for them. I actually don't know if he is. Hopefully he is. Yeah. I really loved this. Avengers, ooh. 9.5. 9.5 out of 10.
Well, that's pretty high.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. And it is really well done. I like how they bring all of the storylines together within the same universe. I think that the humor is excellent. It's very well executed. It's very well cast. And since we're watching this through Disney Plus, the Incredible Hulk is not part of
we had to skip
Marvel
that one.
series. But you see the Hulk character come into this movie, so it was cool to see that. It actually made me want to go out and like watch the Incredible Hulk. But it's just great how you get to see all of the characters working together and interacting with each other, but they're still very much themselves. I think by this point the actors have really embodied their character well. So I think it's really enjoyable to see that. So I'd give it a solid 9.
To add to that, I enjoyed seeing like who would get along and who wouldn't get along. Like Iron Man and Captain America not getting along made all the sense in the world.
Of course.
Yeah, that was just a really fun kind of speculative dynamic of if the comic book characters met, who would be friends and who would have tension. I thought that was a really fun aspect of it. Next up, we watched Iron Man 3. And I'm going to let Julio take that away because I don't remember what happens in Iron Man 3.
I really liked Iron Man 3. It kind of taps into Tony Stark's side of... I mean, he very much is a celebrity and he lives with the celebrity on his skin, but it's sometimes hard to get into the inside of who Tony Stark is, and you get to see part of that shed away with the introduction of the boy who follows him around. I don't remember the name of the character the boy plays, but it's a cool interaction to see that there is a soft side to Tony Stark, and whenever you can break through that hard shell of the persona and the celebrities of Tony Stark, I like those moments in movies. So I enjoyed it for that. I think that it's cool to also see when there is a formidable villain come into play, and just the unexpected twist at the end, which I don't want to give a spoiler away. But there is an unexpected twist as to who can harness the power that's been created by this villain as well. So
I remember.
Yeah, this is a great movie. I think it's one of the better parts of the Iron Man trilogy. So I'd give it a 9.
Yeah, it was good. I'm remembering it more now. I think it has some of the best action sequences too. It has some really high stakes, which makes it a lot more compelling to watch. Yeah, the stakes are really high, and you think that sometimes you think one thing's gonna happen, and then the stakes are even higher, and it's scary. You're genuinely scared for some of the characters and their fates, which I think is hard to do in some of these movies because they're Marvel movies, and sometimes they do feel predictable. But in this movie, they raised the stakes for a lot of the characters and just made it more compelling and more on the edge of your seat to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what would you rate it?
9. I agree with that. Yeah, it's a 9. Next up, we watched Emperor's New Groove. And this is one that I've seen a million times, probably. This time around, we were only kind of half watching it, to be honest. We were kind of, like, talking about things that were going on in life.
Yeah.
And also watching it, so... but I know this movie well enough to be able to say that it's wonderful. If you haven't seen this movie, it's so funny. The voice actors are wonderful and hilarious. It features David Spade. It features who's Kronk? Oh man, I'll put his name up because I can't remember Kronk's name. Voice talents are excellent for this. It's hilarious. It's very funny.
Yeah.
9.5.
Oh yeah. Easily 9.5, maybe even a 10. Well, no, not a 10. 9.5. Because my bar for a 10 for an animated movie is The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Yeah.
which
We love that movie.
perfect. But we're talking about another movie here, and
True.
this was also like probably the millionth time that I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
So I know it's excellent. It's not the first time that I've seen it, and even rewatching it is a lot of fun. I know when the jokes are coming up, and they're great. Just the delivery and the quickness and the wit is excellent. The acting is really great. David Spade is hilarious. Patrick Warburton plays really well off the character who plays the villain. So yeah, it's just really well done. It's very quick, and yeah, it brings you in. So even though I was kind of half watching it, it still would draw my attention. So
Yeah.
because of that, yeah, a 9.5.
Next up, we watched Thor: The Dark World. All right, give us your thoughts on The Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World. Well, let me try to remember a little bit of what happened. Let's see. I do like Thor a little bit more than you like Thor.
This one made me like him more.
Yeah, it plays a lot, like you said, off of the more of the fantasy realms of the Marvel universe.
I had fun with that part.
And it was really cool to see just the connection. But, of course, I mean, you're watching the love story as well between Thor and...
I don't care about that as much.
Really?
With Thor, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
did. I liked it.
I think Natalie Portman is just a weird choice for Thor. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't dislike her. I just think I don't really get the chemistry there.
Yeah, well, I mean, but the storyline is still there. The story aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's like she had no idea where he went.
She had a bigger part to play in this.
Yeah,
for sure. It was a lot more about her.
I enjoyed that. I thought that it highlighted the characters around Thor a lot more than just Thor himself.
It did.
Which is cool. I enjoyed that. And I also really appreciated the play of the emotion between Loki and Thor in this movie. Ultimately, something happens that, of course, there's always something in the Marvel universe that happens at the end of a movie. If you're ever watching a Marvel movie, make sure you stay past the credits, because of course that's the thing, the Easter egg at the very end of the credits. So, yeah, all the way up to the end of the movies. I enjoyed the movie. I liked particularly the portrayal of Loki, and a little bit going into his character here. So
yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
I'd give it an 8.5.
Okay, cool. We agree. Next up, we watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And what did you think about this one? Pass it back to you.
The Winter Soldier it's cool that now there's you have the whole Hydra villain being the opposing force in the first Captain America, but this one is a little more personal. I think that the developing story of the Winter Soldier and also his connection to some of the other characters is really cool. And it also taps back into the origins of Captain America. So that was cool as well. That he's in modern day universe, but we see some recognizable characters come back into play. So and actually it's cool to see. I always like when they have a formidable foe, someone that actually deserves
Challenges them.
The challenge of the victor. So I like that. I think that Captain America had a run for his money with this villain, and I enjoyed watching it quite a bit. So it had less of the nostalgia, more of the action. Actually, what I really enjoyed was that it was almost like watching one of those like classic 90s crime movies like Die Hard, or like you're watching a operation under kind of like you're seeing something develop. There's these the Russians, right, always involved in scheming and trying to become a superpower. So I kind of like that aspect of this too. So I'd give it a 9.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I see what you're saying now. I was like, where are you going with this 90s thing? I was like, what? Now I understand. Yeah, I agree. I don't really have anything to add. I don't know if 9. I'm somewhere maybe between an 8 and a 9, but yeah, close around there. Yeah, agreed. Next up, we watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and between Iron Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, I think actually, yeah, I think I'm gonna rate Guardians of the Galaxy as my favorite actually in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah,
You agree?
10 for me.
Oh yeah, it's
Hands
one
down.
of the best ones. There's a lot of good things going for it. First of all, Chris Pratt. He is so fantastic in everything he does, and he's just so lovable and so funny. Also, something I love about Guardians of the Galaxy is the music soundtrack is also a character, and it's
Yes.
one of the most unique things I've seen in any of these Marvel movies is having the music really be like a sidekick to Chris Pratt's character. And I just love everything about that. It's so much fun. And I also just am partial to sci-fi types of movies and sci-fi types of adventures. And it doesn't get more sci-fi than Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm really partial to all of the weird creatures and the different realms that we see and the dynamics between the characters. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy is all about their interactions with each other too. So yeah, it's a 10. I agree.
Yeah, everything that you mentioned, I agree with. I like that.
We never disagree, do we?
No, we disagree
Never.
slightly on things. I like Thor a little bit more.
That's barely a
Just a little, I know.
disagreement.
We tend to have similar tastes, which is actually a really cool part of watching things with you. So
Yeah.
I know that you're not going to be bored out of your mind if I'm enjoying something.
Yeah, usually.
So I like the Guardians. It's easily one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's one that as soon as we talked about watching the Marvel movies from beginning to end, one that I was excited to watch, even though
yeah.
it was like way down the road after the first Iron Man movie. I still very much look forward to it. And I think even the day that came when we were coming up to watch it, I mentioned, oh, today we get to watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Like
we get to watch it.
We get to because we finally worked towards it.
Yeah.
But it
It's so
delivers. It delivers well. It's a rewatchable movie. The humor is really well done, and I enjoy it time and time again. So
Yeah.
for me, 10.
It's great. All right, we'll just briefly talk about the TV that we watched. We watched 3 shows. Well, I watched 1 and he watched 2 with me. First of all, we've been continuing watching Mad Men, which we just learned that they're taking Mad Men off of Netflix on June 10th. So we're furiously watching
Mad
it.
dash to finish.
We're madly watching Mad Men at the moment because we're trying to finish it before they take it down. I don't really know if we're going to be able to do it, but we will see.
Got 4 days left.
Oh my gosh. We have 2 seasons to get through in 4 days.
We can do it.
We'll see. Mad Men is a show that I'm still trying to decide if I like it or not. I like it well enough now in the 5th season. It's been getting more interesting. Honestly, the first 2 seasons, I've been struggling to find the point. Maybe the first 3 seasons. I just have been struggling with wanting to connect with the show. And I have to, I think, understand that Don Draper is an anti-hero. And really, you're not supposed to really like any of the characters. And that's really hard for me to do. Like, I need to latch on to someone. And everyone is just very unlikable.
Except for Megan.
Except for Megan. But most of them are... I will say most of the characters are very unlikable. There are aspects of the characters that you can latch onto, but they all make horrible life choices, and they all do terrible things. So I really struggle with that aspect, but the story has been getting a little more interesting, has been moving along a little bit more. So I'm starting to like this more.
I like the show because it very plainly shows how when people think about the good old days, it takes off the veil and it just shows you what the good old days were actually like, and a lot of the struggles that existed in the 1960s you see on the show. And so I like that commentary aspect of Mad Men. Again, I like the attention to detail, and you can very clearly see the eras change through the fashion of the characters.
That's really cool. I appreciate that.
That's awesome, and I agree.
The production is great. I don't deny that.
Yeah, because what I think is a major draw to the show, and maybe even just the message of the show, is to show that the good old days weren't as good as we might remember, and that's probably why every character sucks as a person. But they present it really well. I think that the actors are incredible. Excellent acting, really great scenery, and I like the show. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, so he's the one that made me watch it. I'm starting to like it more, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can finish it in the next 4 days. Oh my goodness. Next up, I finished Anne with an E. Julio did not really watch the show with me at all, but I finished Anne with an E. This one, I'm gonna give it a 7. It was definitely a nice, easy show to watch. It has some strange ideas, I think, of how it pulls together the actual Anne series, and then how it tries to do some modern things, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. It just kind of depended on the topic that they were trying to tackle, and for that reason I appreciate how ambitious the show was, but it didn't always work. I don't think every episode really worked for the show. I think it ends very nicely. I am sad it's not renewed for another season. I believe it's done now. It has 3 seasons and it's not continuing. So I really liked the premise, obviously, with Anne of Green Gables, but just know it is not really Anne of Green Gables. It is just using the characters, and then it does something very different with them. And it's not a bad thing. It's just you have to be okay with that if you watch the show. And just know that it's not going to be the Anne of Green Gables that you know. And I think if you're okay with that, you can really get something out of it and enjoy it. But I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, because I think sometimes it hit the mark and sometimes it really didn't. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Next, we watched together Magic for Humans.
As soon as I got the notification that the new season of Magic for Humans was out, immediately clicked it. Everything else that we were watching at the time paused. Like, this was the one show that we wanted to
drop everything and watch
drop everything. Let's watch it. And it's just like, eating potato chips. You just keep popping them, and they're so short, and they're only like 20 something minutes long.
It's very bingeable.
So you watch it. I think we finished it in like a couple days. So it's awesome. The host is hilarious, and there's just there's a lot of humor, and it makes you think about how you interact with other people, and it makes you think about your life, and it does have a message of trying to promote positivity. So I enjoy it, and they're also just fun to watch.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Really, he's just somebody who likes to troll people.
Yeah.
And he uses magic to do it.
It's awesome.
Which just makes it so hilarious. He's a troll. He's just a total troll.
Yes, and he's great at it.
Yeah, and he's really good at it. And yeah, he's just very clever and witty. And with the random people that he meets on the street, it's amazing. He's also a really good musician. He's also a really good magician too. And I really don't know how he did some of his tricks, especially when you get to the end of the season, the last episode, the last trick he does. We're still talking about how he might have done that. We have no idea.
I don't know. Oh,
he's amazing.
The editing too is on point.
The editing of this is very funny. They have some very funny editors who kind of like edit it in a way that like kind of makes fun of the people that they're talking to on the street, and it's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah, 10.
10.
This is a show I would recommend to everyone and anyone.
Yeah.
You should watch the show. Thank you for watching our May movie TV show wrap up. And we hope to do more of these in the future. We're trying something new with the sound and the audio. So you can let me know down below if you've been watching my videos, if it sounds good or not. It's a total experiment today, so hopefully this comes out okay. But thank you for watching today, and Julio will be back. We'll bring him back in the future for more videos. So.
Not going anywhere.
Yes, he's not going anywhere. He's stuck here forever. I don't want to say keep reading great books.
Keep watching great books.
That's like my sign. I never know what sign off to do for these ones. I hope you're having a great day and a great night wherever you are. And until next time, bye-bye.